Another great question from the comments from Carlos. How do other people in the team keep their WIP in sync with all the new commits coming from other people? Are they all continuously rebasing their changes?
Yes.
The way we do it is we do a poll as much as we can. We want to make sure we're working on the most up-to-date code and with micro commits that changes very frequently, as well as keeping WIP in sync. Right, we have our work area with our discovery trees. We have a WIP limit there specifically, so we all kind of know what we're working on at a much larger scale. Oh, hey, look, it showed team board right here. So if you notice that kind of in the middle section, WIP limit of 7, then you see the actively being worked on as kind of our discovery tree section. But yeah, so we do micro commits and we try to pull every time we can, probably, again, 5 to 10 minutes, like Brett mentioned earlier, of what we're trying to do our own micro commits. So we're at least pulling every 5 to 10 minutes, unless we're going a little bit longer.
2 comments. I want to emphasize something because this is one of the things I'm a stickler about. That WIP limit is over 2 columns, not 1. All right. So if we have 20 things, we wouldn't get 20 things ready for QA. So between being worked on in QA, if we get to 7, nothing new starts generally. And actually, we've been good about that. And we do whatever we can to work with QA to work down we work from the end backwards. So anything that's ready for QA, get that delivered. And now you have space to bring more work from being worked on into ready for QA. But if you don't limit the ready for QA, you're doing yourself no favors. In fact, what you're doing is you think you're limiting WIP, but you're actually building up a big batch that's going to be tested later on. So it's really important if you're going to maintain WIP over a logical collection of columns. Another thing is, this is implicit. Our tests are slow right now. They take about a minute and a half clock time, a little over a minute to run clock time for 4,500 tests. And that's woefully slow, for context. All right, so we've got 4,500 automated checks of the system, and they take about a minute clock time to run, which is okay. But I'd love them to be about half that time. I actually love them to be about 10 seconds or less, but they're not prohibitively slow right now.
And for context here, this slide here is an actual team board we have pulled from one of the projects that Industrial Logic's currently working on. So this kind of shows just some of the columns that the team has created that made sense for the way the work flowed from being ready to get worked on, and then being completed.
I would like to pivot back to Carlos's question, because he did say, are we continually rebasing their changes? And I wanted to make sure too, is like, at least on the project we're currently on, we are, I would say, 99% trunk based. I think Brett mentioned earlier that sometimes we do have small handoff branches, but so yeah, the rebasing is literally rebasing local commits from trunk or from main. It's not rebasing other long-lived branches. I thought that was worth pointing out, because there's several rebasing.
One other comment, because this may or may not be obvious to people. There's rebase and then there's rebase. We're rebasing unsaved, unshared commits. We might rebase in the branch. I don't care about that. Once a branch gets merged in, I don't care what happened to the branch. But on trunk, I don't rebase commit. I'm never doing a force push. All right. So I'm doing a rebase so that my commits go after other commits, but those are my commits that have not actually been shared with somebody else. So that's one thing. So we're live. If I need to deal with a merge conflict and get the test passable, I'll do that.
Yep.
So,
and for this data, this is 48 average commits per day being merged into
trunk
main. We barely use branches. We honestly only for spike code typically, where hey, we have an experiment. Oh hey, this is cool, but this is spaghetti code. Let's not push this into production. Let's actually, test drive this solution.